the people doing right by people. That's why they lie to you about it. We promote those values around the world, they say, when we promote those values around the world, and when we use tactics like those, it just undermines that. Exactly, paint for me where we promote those values around the world, other than yelling freedom and good. You yell freedom and destroy countries. You yell saving and liberty while you remove those things from every single place that you step on. Now, that is the government I'm talking about, not the individuals they manipulate into the military. Psychological operations to promote U.S. narratives overseas is nothing new in the military, but the popularity of Western social media across the globe has led to an expansion of these tactics, including the use of artificial personas and images. Guess what, guys? Sometimes called deep fakes. Well, there you go. Openly admitting what we already know, that these operations include faking from whole cloth entire videos about people in the world. Maybe it's already happening. Maybe we're already looking at things we don't know are actually completely made up by the Psychological Operations Department of the Army or the CIA or anybody.
Well, that's where I'll tell you that the hidden armies are in every department of every government agency. They're armies, and they're psychologically trained to lie, manipulate, and get the end done. And it's okay to lie. As long as we get to the end, we can lie. And they'll tell them some goal, some altruistic goal. And all you have to do is lie, and then we'll get there. And they do. And we're so psychologically programmed to trust and believe in outside gods, which is outside people, instead of ourselves. And somebody made a comment on my other video there today. I haven't had a chance to go into that Google account and reply yet, because I have 2 different Google accounts because one of them was canceled due to my truth-telling ways. But I want to tell you that the hidden armies are so pervasive. I mean, they're in the hospitals, they are in the schools, they are in social services, and they are also ex-vets. They're or ex-cons. People that are in trouble with the law will often get a deal if they will do this little exercise for us. And I had this situation happen to me. In British Columbia, I had an Airbnb, and I was a super host, and I had fantastic reviews. And then, of course, I went homeless and came here. Well, I have 2 bedrooms here, so I opened up one of my bedrooms for Airbnb again. Why not? Share the rent. And this 32-year-old girl, I mean, she looked like a little girl, honest to God, she really did. She was so messed up. And she came, some person in Pennsylvania, where she was from, paid for her to stay in an Airbnb here. I don't know why she was here at all. I have no idea. There's just such a spinny story around her that there was nothing real. And she told me when she was here that she was an ex-vet. She had been to Afghanistan and she counted coffins. That's what she said. I was a coffin counter. And I asked her about, the V's and if they got any in the military or whatnot, because I know what they're doing, right? And she said, it was like one day there was 8 in a row in the ass. Plop, plop, plop. They put fear in people and give you, the solution, right? It's fear and solution. It's all psychological terrorism. Well, she was here to psychologically terrorize me. I almost lost my condo, and I did lose my Airbnb rights. She was drinking heavily, smoking in my closet with all my clothes and coat. She was going to my neighbors and banging on their doors asking for weed. She was like, I would say 8 years old in the mind, guys. This girl was gone. I couldn't hate her. I knew she was just something wrong with her in her mind. And finally, after 3 weeks, I put up with it for 3 weeks. I was really good. Well, I really wanted to, help her. That's the way I am. But then, oh, she got so bad. I can't remember what the final blow was, but it was late at night, 11 p.m., Friday night. And I said to her, you know what? I want you out of my house tomorrow morning. That's it. Just get your stuff together tonight and be out of here by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then she goes into this crying like a child, right? And I was in my bedroom and I yelled through my door, no, get out, go, get away from me. There's no more discussion, because people think they can keep talking. And the more you talk, you can get your way, right? There's no more talk when I'm done. So, you know what she did? She called the police, and a police car came. I didn't know this. All of a sudden, it was 1 a.m. I woke up and I heard this commotion at the door. And I thought, what's going on? I'd better go check. And I went, and a female police officer was helping her remove her items from the room at 1 a.m. And the police officer, instead of trying to talk to me, just turned around and headed to the police car. And then the girl said she was afraid of me. Well, if she's afraid of me and she called the police, why wouldn't the police talk to me? So she left with the police with all her stuff. And the next day, my entire Airbnb was canceled. It's more than, it's more than one little thing, guys. It's the whole system is psychologically terrorizing us and individuals who are holders of the truth. They are, I'm happy to be alive. Really, I am. I can't tell you how many times they tortured me and tried to kill me. But nobody believed me. They're going to start now. But you're not a believable person in these. You're a crazy bitch. Because it's not fathomable to people that anyone can be that evil to set up such a widespread propaganda to the public, all fear, all terrorism. And so people are constantly in not their own mind.
But if you bring this up on Twitter, you're a fake news conspiracy theorist. Of course, because that's the operation. The bots, the manipulative part of this, because that's a huge part of this. The fake entities, the fake accounts, they're entirely highlighting here. Twitter, Facebook. The logic is that views expressed by what appears to be, say, an Afghan woman or an Iranian student might be more persuasive than if they were openly pushed by the U.S. government. Of course. Because they're going to say, hey, I'm an Iranian student, and Iran's taking my rights away. Well, wouldn't they just find the real people saying that? It literally undermines the fact that that's even a real problem. I don't doubt for 1 second that there are people that have those opinions. But why do they fake them if the point is they want to sell you on this idea and give you a packaged story, like Abana from Syria, or Omran, the kid in the back of the ambulance, right? They fake these things. They provably have got caught faking them. Or making things up in Ukraine, the ghost of Kiev, or the psychological operations lady who argued they were raping children and they got called out for it. It was a completely whole cloth lie. That's this. That's what we're talking about. The majority of military's influence operations are overt, promoting U.S. policy in the Middle East and elsewhere under its own name and official set, and there are valid reasons to use clandestine tactics, they claim, such as trying to infiltrate closed groups. A key issue for senior policymakers now is determining whether the military's execution of these operations is delivering results. So it's not about whether they're doing the right thing, breaking the rules. Are they achieving what they want to achieve? And there is them admitting the point. As long as we claim we're doing the right thing, we'll work out the side part of this. We'll figure out the details of the aftermath. No, that's what happens in things like, WMDs in Iraq, or invasions of Syria, where we go, we'll figure it out, but we have to because it's important. Or, a vaccination campaign. Safe and effective, rush it out, emergency authorization, because the benefits outweigh the risk, because the danger is so real, we can't study it properly. And then, the dust settles, and we look back and go, well, gee, they knew the whole time. That's how this works. Does our approach really have the potential for return on investment? That's how they view these things. The report suggests that clandestine activity did not have much impact. Of course, then they just need to make it better, right? The vast majority of posts and tweets reviewed received no more than a handful of likes and retweets. So, first of all, in their admission of this, they're telling you, well, the government failed. They're clumsy, half-hearted, clandestine operations, which I don't even believe is really what we're pointing at here. This is probably just fake in general, but they're saying they failed, they didn't get enough engagement. And only 19% of the concocted accounts had more than 1,000 followers. Tellingly, the two most followed assets in the data provided by Twitter were overt accounts that publicly declared a connection to the U.S. military. Clandestine influence operations have a role, but we should be a narrow one with intrusive oversight. Right, so what's the moral of the story? Well, of course we're going to keep doing this. We're just going to do it right. So take away from this that they have been lying to you about Iran, about Afghanistan, about Syria, about COVID-19, about injections, about its origin, about literally every single thing you see in front of you in efforts to direct you. Now here's a couple of included articles. This one's from 2016, posted by Melissa Dykes. Yes, U.S. government propaganda used against American citizens is officially legal now. This is talking about the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act in one of the NDAAs. I think it was 2016. Just trying to look at what usually it's one of these I have posted. I'll make sure I get the date right. Read this one. Watch the video. Here's one from the anti-media back when that was still a thing. MISOC, which is MISO or MISOC, is the full, where is it? The Military Information Support Operations Command, or just the Military Information Support Operations. The U.S. military's secret brand of fake news from 2017. All right, so it's always been there. They're just now pointing out, highlighting the misuse so they can justify the new version of it, probably using all the new technological advancements. This is written by me back when I was still writing as often as I used to. May 26, 2017. The new American empire. Google's new propaganda program changes everything. Here's another one. This one's from Whitney Webb, back when she wrote from Impress News. Lifting the U.S. propaganda ban gives new meaning to the old song. Oh, it was the 2013 NDAA. The Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. Here's another one written by me. This was actually a show. Oh, I forgot to update this. I'll try to get the new video in there, the old video. The Smith-Mundt Modernization Act and mainstream media. The legalized deception of the American people. For the quick understanding of this, the Smith-Mundt Act, I believe it was 1940-something, 1943, I'm getting the date wrong. The original act was an act that was designed to say you're not allowed to propagandize the American people. They knew they were going to do it overseas, but you weren't allowed to because they knew how nefarious it was, how wrong and dishonest it was, and you can read the original. You can't do that, right? Then, as always, like the Patriot Act and these misnamed ideas to make you think of the opposite of what they are, they go to the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. We're only going to make it better. Well, in fact, all they did was basically, they should have just thrown it in the garbage can. All they did was legalize the actual thing that the Smith-Mundt Act was meant to stop. Why would that be modernizing it at all? In fact, all it is removing it. The Smith-Mundt Modernization Act allowed the government to direct exact lies to you through the media as long as they claim it's for national security. You read these for yourself. It's undeniably clear. Which means, as I've said every time, that story you saw on Fox or CNN last night could be literally completely manufactured, and they would know that as long as the government said you have to for national security. That's the world we live in. This is the last one. This is also by me, Smith-Mundt Act and mainstream media fake news. This is just another show where we talk about it. It's very, very, very clear. Now, here's some examples of that happening right now, in real time. Russia claims it carried out war crimes in Izium are a lie. Now, this is just one more example. Don't forget the Eva Bartlett interview we had about the first time they claimed a mass grave was completely whole cloth. They showed you. They lied. Eva Bartlett went and spoke to the grave diggers, showed video of the ground. It was a normal cemetery. It had Ukrainians, it had Russians, it had people, everybody. It was just a normal graveyard. They lied it was a big mass grave, but that means they buried him in a big hole with no headstones or anything. These had headstones. They lied to you. And when they got caught, they just moved to the next story, like any number of stories we've shown you. That's why I'll include this. This goes back to, this is, oh, wait a minute. 2022, did they update this? Maybe they updated it and I haven't gone back and looked. It doesn't look updated. That's weird. I'm pretty sure this wasn't posted on... Maybe it was. In any case, it's a great article from Kit Knightley. 7 fake news stories coming out of Ukraine. These are easily proven. Every single one of these are catastrophic lies using video games, using old images that you could prove weren't from where they said they were. Everything, including the ghost of Kiev, that's completely lied, and they've admitted it was a lie. Everyone...
Okay. If you want to see that, it's with Fearless Nation again on BitChute, and it's under the U.S. government's International Psychological Operations Campaign Exposed. Like even he doesn't know the enormity of it. You know, these guys, they don't know the little guy. They don't know the meek. They don't know the mental cases, the drunks, the petty criminals are all targets. And especially if they know anything, they will be shut up. Yeah, this video might get me canceled, but I'm just putting shit out now. I don't really care. I'm not going to live in a lie, and I'm not going to hide anymore. And that's the problem, guys. We're all trained that as long as the end goal is good, that you can do whatever you want to get there. Like I can hide my feelings, and I can hide my truth, because at least I get to stay on social media, on YouTube. But that's me hiding, not being me. And the guy that was commenting on my thing about trying to erase his left brain too, it's hard. And every day it's a practice. Every day I have to practice erasing the lies I was fed to think is real and true. And I have to really try hard to go into, well, what do I think? Well, what do I think about that? And it's really hard to have your own opinion. Nobody has their own opinion. They have what they've been fed, or what they experience, and, words and connect images. That's how it works. There's your reality. And you won't believe anything else. Or it won't matter to you. It won't be an issue for you, so you'll just move on. But you don't realize that by allowing our governments to live in lies and to give us lies, we're giving them permission to just take us over. And not insisting on the truth from the people that have the truth and the media and the money. What is wrong with us that we don't demand the truth? I'll tell you what's wrong with us that we don't demand the truth. Because we live in lies too. Everybody is living in lies. They're not expressing themselves openly and honestly at all. Nope. They're not going to tell their feelings. They're going to hide them and then go tell somebody else. They don't want to face their feelings. And that's what I'm trying to encourage people to plug back into your feelings for a better understanding of who you are and a learning of how to love yourself again. Now, I'm going through something really shitty today. This is a really bad day for me. I've got anxiety, and I like to... Actually, that's why I was going to do a video, but I got caught up with this guy. The reason for this video was to tell you that I am going to express out loud what I'm going through. And I think maybe some of those crazy people you see walking down the street talking out loud, I think they're expressing out loud what they need to express out loud. They're trying to sort out their brains. I do. Because we're living in delusion, and people that are considered crazy aren't crazy. They're the truth holders that have been mixed up. Maybe they go off the deep end, and I have gone off the deep end, trust me, a couple of times. When you're so gaslit about your reality, it's very difficult to function. And so today I'm having a very difficult day functioning. I have to. My cat is dying right before my eyes. Okay? He's not eating nothing, no drinking, and last night he was sleeping on my pillow for the last time, I think, because in the middle of the night somehow he went away, and he's hiding now behind the sofa, and I can't reach him. It's a huge sofa with these great big marble things in front of it. I'll show you. I can't get that out. I can't get him out. So with I don't have, I'd have to ask for help. Anyway, but I opened the door a little while ago and he came out and I picked him up and he was kind of limp, but not completely, and he didn't feel like he's lost weight at all. And he started walking around the patio a bit, and what is going on? So I picked him up and I brought him back in, and I got a little bit of cheese out of the fridge, put it in the palm of my hand, try and get him to eat something. And as soon as it touched his lips, as soon as he tried, his mouth opened wide like a lion, like an angry lion. And he ran off and went behind the sofa again. He didn't have time to swallow it. He didn't have time to even touch it. I don't think he did. It's something else. I feel it's psychologically he's shut down. If cats can do that, I don't know. So I have to make a decision, don't I, guys? What's your thought? Call a vet, right? Call a vet. They'll save you. Well, that's my left brain, guys. That's what I have to erase. And this is killing me. I can't. I'm not calling a vet. They work for Big Pharma. And they can't do anything except take money. And then tell me the bad news after. So I'm not playing anymore. So I asked my friend told me, he would pay for it all. It's not money. It is not money. It is me trusting myself. The cat was brought to me by spiritual means. It's a long story, but his name is Refugee, and he's been with me 2 years this November. A really weird guy named Mark brought him to me. And so I am a feeling person, and I have to live with my feelings. And you know what? Just expressing this right now out loud, like a crazy person, but I'm talking to a camera and I'm sharing it, I feel better. Maybe that's why counselors help, because people sit in front of someone and talk. I was a trained counselor. The Gerald Egan model I was trained under with UBC, a guy named Mahmoud at the Delta Assist Community Center. I was training for 2.5 years to be a community counselor. And the way you counsel is you let them talk and then you repeat back what they say. That's all, basically. So that they know you're hurt. Like, I say, I have, a terrible life, blah, 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 blah. And then me, the counselor, would say, well, how do you feel? And then they talk about that, right? And they always feel better expressing themselves. And it's easier to sort out your thoughts when you express yourself out loud too. It's much easier to sort out your thoughts when you express yourself, either in writing or with your words in your mouth, your voice. I feel 100% better since I started this video. I can feel my anxiety leaving me. Everything my cat is going through and I am going through is on purpose and on time. And I trust that. And I'm not making up a lie or a story for a better end. That's what you got to question yourself. Am I making up a lie or a story? I'm going to tell you something. Even lying to your children about Santa Claus, there's no excuse for lying. You don't put fantasies in kids' heads. You give them reality, or you're giving them fantasy for life. You think it feels good, well, the outing, the kids, no, everybody else, is waiting for Santa Claus. That's right. Everybody's waiting for Santa Jesus too, aren't they? Nobody's got the strength within themselves to turn tables over in a temple like Jesus did. Nobody has the strength to use their voice out in public and just say, hey, you're not allowed to lie. You're a liar. You can't be trusted. Nobody can deal with a liar. Nobody can deal with a liar. You can't deal with a liar, but you're accepting it day in and day out, over and over. And you keep going back to the same way you were conditioned in everything you do. You think you have to. You don't think you're allowed to drop words. And I'm dropping words. I'm dropping the image of the Frankensteins. I don't want them in my images anymore. I see them evil. All of them. It'll be about big pharma or surgery. And God wants us to count on us. And if it's time to go, it's time to go. You don't take anybody else's heart. You don't take anybody else's eyeballs. You just die. That's what God wants. We can't take control of life and death. If it's not working, you can do what you can. As a nurse, a mother, a teacher, you do what you can. Always. We use our emotional intelligence to figure out what to do. But sometimes the emotional intelligence has no answers. And I have to let it go. And letting things go ain't easy, I know. But it's okay. Now about left brain fantasies that we have in our minds, the sexual thing I was talking about. I wanted to address that again. Because those fantasies they're killing you. You're killing yourself with your soul. Because they've introduced really vile fantasies that have triggered our biological sexual senses. And people are into BDSM more than anything. It's mostly BDSM. People are into bondage and sadomasochism with each other. And then there's the pedophilia and the sodomy fantasies. And there's all sorts of really creepy ones now. They gotta go. You have to rebuke them. But in my own personal life and my experience, because I was conditioned in BDSM in grade 1, 2. I remember the books. I remember the storybooks. Cinderella, all of them. All of them. They're triggering you. Girls and boys. And what I do is I just refuse to allow my mind to go there. If you have to give up sex, you have to give up sex. We're not doing sex with our emotions. We're doing it with something else. We're not loving what we're having sex with. It's meat. I told you that reptiles have 5 senses. We have more. We got the emotional sense. That's the one that comes with us. We've been so robbed. And now we can see the truth. It's out there. Everybody could get it if they wanted. But people find it very difficult to believe that the government is capable of such things, just as I could not believe my husband was capable of what he was doing to me and my son for 20 years. For me for 20 years, because Trevor was 4 or 5 when I met him. And I stayed until 2 years after Trevor died. And then by the time 2 years was up, I was like, oh my God, I was petrified of that man, and I had no psychological reason for it. I was hiding in my bedroom. I went to a transition home for battered women, and I wasn't battered. And I said, I don't know what to do. I just feel like he's going to kill me. And I had no reason. I got out. I went, instead of going to the transition house, because that's just another psychological torture chamber, and by the way, I looked at it. I didn't stay. I looked at it. And I also worked in one when I was young. I didn't want to stay at a transition house. So I used my credit card and went and got a hotel. And that's what I did. I stayed there for 3 days, and I told him over the phone, I said, "You're fucking scaring the shit out of me. I don't know what's wrong with you, but something's up." And I'm at this hotel. And then we got divorced. I didn't go back. And it's still, I didn't know until 2016. Because, and then they had to bring in the big guns, beings of light and my deceased son showing up so that I could see. I'm very blessed. I'm lucky, okay? I got it before I die. Before I die. You have to get it before you die. Or guess what? You're coming back into the system. If it's not blown up, you're coming back into the system. And you will be a child of one of your great-grandchildren, or somebody in your family, in your soul group. We do that. We change roles. We come into our soul groups and we change. Somehow I feel they have psychologically connected to our consciousness for death and rebirth. I haven't got that figured out all the way yet, so I'm not going to say much more, but just put that out there. They have us in a trap for coming back too. This system is brilliant. It's artificial, but it is brilliant. But emotional intelligence is so much more. And it's the only thing that can break it wide open. The artificial life has to stop. The lying has to stop. And it starts with us at home. And it starts with us insisting on other people around us speaking the truth too. I just say, I'll never lie to you. I'll never lie again. Ever, ever. It would hurt my soul so much to lie now that I'm awake. Because I'm of Christ. I'm of conscience. Don't you understand? That's that's our conscience that we're giving up. And we're saying, "Oh, well, conscience doesn't matter. Everybody else is doing it." And, the end, the goal is more of a benefit than anything. So why not just lie away until we get there? That is not a good way to think. No lies, not once, none other peep of a lie. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay, guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna just do what my spirit moves me to do today. If anybody knows anything about cats, I would welcome outside information, helping each other like that. Anything that would entice them out, because I really I don't have any answers, and I won't take them to a doctor, so I'm just going to do the best I can. If I see my cat crying or suffering, yes, then I would take him and I would have him put down. Okay. Bye for now.